everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Unpredictable.
Guys, as you can see, we have a new hostess today. I tried to say it and messed up terribly.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Today, you don't see her. We decided to not do a video to make people more comfortable. Or I guess Ness more comfortable, not people. And so we are doing an audio. So, Janessa Moss, welcome to the podcast. She was scared. I literally asked her a couple times already, and every time she was like, I don't know, Karina, I'm a little scared. But today we're doing more of a fun one, and it's not deep, serious conversation. So, all right, Ness, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us a little bit about your family.
Okay, well, like she said, my name is Janessa Moss. I come from a family of 8. So I have 5 older siblings. I'm the youngest. 4 of them are married. My one sister lives in North Carolina, works for Door of Hope Ministries, and I have 6 nieces and nephews.
All right. Now, this question, we're doing questions today, and this question is in the questions that we're doing, but I'm still going to ask her anyways, and then we might just skip that question. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for hobbies?
So my hobbies would be horse riding, reading, hanging out with friends, and playing guitar.
All right. Solid. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we get into the questions?
Nope,
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. Do you want to ask the first question or do you want me to?
Go for it.
Okay. What's the best concert you've ever been to?
So I've only been to 2 concerts. I went to a King and Country concert, and what's that Irish band?
Oh, Celtic Thunder.
Oh yes, Celtic Thunder. So those are
Okay.
the only 2 concerts that I've ever been to, but I would have to say for King and Country. They
Okay.
were amazing, and they're like my favorite band.
Okay.
So there's not many artists that I like a majority of their songs, but for King and Country I like pretty much all of their songs.
Okay.
So yeah, they're really good.
I am I've only been to one concert, and it was Celtic Thunder.
Oh, you were at a
So,
Celtic Thunder concert.
yeah. I think they invited you because you went with my family, right?
Yeah.
Or like mom and dad and Kirsten.
Mhm.
They knew I didn't like it.
Oh, you
So
didn't?
they were like, Kirsten, you can bring someone else if you want.
All right. What's the worst job you've ever had?
I won't say the name, but it dealt with working with flowers and watering and stuff.
I don't really have like a worst job. I've only had 3: cleaning, the bakery, and Halion. And there was just pros and cons to both or all of them.
All right. Next question is, are you a dog or a cat person?
Definitely a dog person. I mean, I'm not like crazy about dogs. I'm not like a crazy dog person, but I would definitely prefer dogs over cats. Cats are just little
What?
brats.
You've gotten multiple cats, but you've never gotten a dog for yourself.
Well, because we've always had a dog.
I would say I'm a dog person. Anyways, the next question is, are you a morning person or a night owl?
It's kind of a hard question, actually. I feel like I would be probably more of a night owl than a morning person. I like mornings after I'm actually up, but getting up is not fun. I I don't know. I just like going to bed early and getting up late.
So we don't know what that is.
No, I stay up late, but I don't really like to stay up late, but I do it anyway because I'm out doing stuff.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I was getting up. My husband gets up at 6:20 every morning and leaves at 6:30. And at one point, I was doing that, and I actually really loved it.
At one point, you mean for like
No,
4 mornings?
it was a couple weeks. like a
Oh,
couple
really?
weeks, yeah. And then I was like, what am I doing? Why am I getting out this early? Um, so I think I would say I would be a night owl.
What would you do with the money if you won the lottery?
Oh, that's a good question.
Also, maybe we should say that we did like read all these questions, but we didn't think about them.
Yeah,
So most of these,
we're doing on the spot.
yeah.
If I had all the money in the world, I would I would have a nice house. Now when people say that, I'm not thinking a mansion here. I would the biggest house that I want to have is a 2-story. And just make sure like I just would want it really updated, I guess.
So one thing I would love to do, but it's going to take a lot of money. So if I won the lottery, I would probably do this. I would love to have around 5 rental houses and have like very small houses, like maybe two for 2 people, and have something very unique about them so that that would make people want to come. Like the one I thought about would be to have one in a tree, kind of like a tree house, but a very updated, like an actual house just
Hmm.
in the trees. So yeah, that would be really cool. Also, I would love to live on a ranch. So I would want to buy a ranch and have a bunch of horses and yeah. And then also I would want to do something um I don't know, meaningful with it, I guess. What is the best book you've ever read out of the 2 books that you've ever read?
I just started getting into reading. I read the Hunger Games series, and I read that in 3.5 weeks. I'm proud to say that. And then I'm on my next book. I think it's called The Sleepwalker or something. And I haven't gotten into it. We've been busy this weekend, and I just got it on Friday. But it's about this lady. It's about this mom, and her kids can't find her. And I guess she has a sleepwalking problem. So I'm excited about
So
it.
like they just can't find her at night?
Well, she's been missing for a couple days.
Oh.
The first book of the Hunger Games was my favorite. And now the question is for you. What's your favorite book that you've read so far?
So one of my favorite authors is Ted Dekker. You heard of him?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So he has have you ever heard of the Circle series? I probably told you about them.
Yeah, I actually started listening to them on audio, and then it got weird.
They are kind of weird, but you just have to keep reading. Especially if you start with Black, then the first few chapters are kind of weird, but you just have to keep reading.
Okay.
So those are my favorite books probably. And then also the Lost books, which kind of like ties into that and has some of the same characters.
Okay.
So those would be my favorite books. Also, have you ever read
I've
How
just read
to
The Hunger
Win
Games.
Probably Not. How to Win Friends
Yeah.
and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Say it again.
How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie.
Okay. Is that the book that you were telling me about a while
Yes.
back? I
This
do want
book,
to read that one.
I believe that every person should read this book. It is a self-help book and it just tells you how to be successful in business and friendships and pretty much all areas of your life. And it is very good and very helpful. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I always say this whenever I'm asked this question. Florida, 100%. But I think honestly, Maryland is a good place to live. I would not mind living here in the summer months, and then from December to March, April ish, live in Florida.
I have absolutely no idea. So I'll just narrow it down and say if I could live anywhere in the United States, it would probably be North Carolina. That's where my sister lives, and I've been down there a few times, and it is so beautiful down there. I love Maryland too. I love where we live. Winters can be kind of rough, but the summer months
Right.
and fall,
Mhm.
I love here.
Yeah. Next question. What's the number one item on your bucket list?
So I guess some things on my bucket list, I don't have like a number one, but I want to go skydiving, swim with a dolphin, I don't want to go dog sledding. Yeah, that's just a few.
I don't really know if I have one. I feel like I was just thinking about it. Jet skiing, I feel like is one thing that I really want to do. Which actually Tyrell and I were gonna do that on our anniversary trip, and then we found out if we do it on our anniversary trip, it was like almost an hour away. And so if we do it here at home, we live close to Deep Creek Lake. So instead of driving an hour and a half altogether, we could drive 20 minutes, half hour altogether, and have it for only $10 more. So we are going jet skiing. So I guess that will be accomplished. What's your go to comfort food?
Ice cream.
All right, mine would be ramen.
What pet peeve drives you crazy?
Just if anyone would do it, or specific people.
Doesn't matter. Whatever you want.
If people say words wrong, I
You
don't know
are hanging
why.
out with the wrong group of people for that.
Like so Ness and my brother-in-law. I don't know if you guys know what a cajon is, but it's a boxed drum. Okay, every time they're always like, "Good job on the cajon today, Karina." I'm like, "Guys, it's cajon." I don't know
I
why it
don't know
annoys me.
why I can't keep it straight.
And then my mom used to say guacamole instead of
Really?
guacamole, and it would bug the tar out of me too. So those two words came to my brain right away. Biggest pet peeve.
One of my pet peeves drives me crazy is when people do not refill ice trays and they put it back in the freezer empty or with like a couple cubes in it. So we have this thing in there right beside the trays
Hmm.
where you can dump it in.
Oh
So
yeah.
people like leave three ice cubes in there. It's like dump that in the little tray or in
Hmm.
the little thingy we have there for that
Hmm.
and refill it. Especially my brother, he's really bad at that, and it drives me crazy. But
Yeah.
also, I hate filling ice trays up with water.
You just
What's
spill it
why is it
everywhere.
such a horrible thing to do? If you could travel through any time period, which one would it be?
Little House on the Prairie could have been kind of cool. Maybe just because I think of how they lived. But then if I would have to live like that now, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Well, you wouldn't know any different either.
Yeah.
So I don't know what time period this is. Maybe like the 60s or 80s, but actually probably even before then. I'm not sure. I don't know. I just get like the picture of like, the diners and everybody how they get around is like their bikes and like pedal bikes and I was trying to think of like a movie because that's where I would have seen it off of, but I can't think
Hmm.
of the name of the movie. Who is your biggest role model?
Connie, my sister, I feel like we both, I think, have a heart to listen to people, to help people out, um, and be there for whoever. And she helps me out a lot. Her and Milford helped me out a lot in my younger years. And she never ever was judgmental ever. And even like I'm trying to even think of like when she even gave me advice that maybe I didn't want to hear, it was always gentle. And I want to be able to I think a lot of like my sisters or something. Well, my sister, we've I feel like had a relationship where maybe she'll come to me and I'll just be like, "Come on," and I won't say it in a gentle way. So I want to work on that. She's definitely a role model in that way. And then also, I don't know if I'll say her name, but it's this other girl that kind of she was also I think she was conservative too, and she left her church and went to another one, and yeah, honestly, yeah, kind of same thing that I went through. And I'm guessing obviously there were hard times for her as well, but she's kept just pursuing her spiritual relationship and kept looking to God for answers for what she should be doing and not always thinking about what are people thinking. Should I just do what they're telling me to do so it's easier? So that was definitely someone I looked up to whenever I was going through my change. Who's your biggest role model?
So, someone that came to my mind would be Carmen Rister. She goes to my church. She's our pastor's wife. Just the way she lives her life, she is just very intentional about the way she lives and has a heart for people, very passionate about people, and being there for people, and the way she cares for people, and even for me, she just takes an interest in young girls' lives, like in the youth girls. And also, I admire the way that she has she has some young kids, and I just really admire the way that she um, interacts with them and how she raises them. She's just a really amazing woman, and I hope that I can be like her someday.
Best memory from childhood.
Maybe not like a specific thing, but probably just living here on the hill. I guess we call where we live the hill because all of us cousins were here, and
Mm-hmm. There was
we would
4 of us families that used to live on the hill.
when Case lived here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we would do stuff with each other all the time because we were like within walking distance to each other's houses.
Mm-hmm.
And during summer, like when school was out, oh, we had like the funnest times. We would build forts and we'd go swimming like every day, and it was just a good time.
Yeah, that was literally what I was going to say. What is a personal motto that you follow?
I read this on a sign. Actually, this might be like a very popular one, but I've never heard of it before until I read it on a sign. Comparison is the thief of joy, because that is can be a big struggle of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean I think for all girls especially
Yeah.
too.
And guys
That is
too.
like a huge yeah, it's just like such a huge thing, and it is so true. Like if you could just cut out all comparison
Mm-hmm.
from the world, it would probably be a much better place.
Yeah. Well, if it helps, I don't really think I would ever think that you would struggle with comparing yourself to other girls.
I hide it well.
I don't really know if it's an actual motto or like a saying, but for me, whenever it comes to friends, if they're negative or just not really adding into my life, then they're just not a part of my life. I won't make them a part of my life. That seems kind of strong, but
I mean, it's also
yeah.
like a two-way thing though. Like if someone else is not putting anything in your relationship and
Right.
you're trying and they're just not giving anything back,
Yep.
I mean, is it something you want to
Yeah.
put all your emotional energy in?
Right.
And yeah.
And I don't know if maybe this is more of a motto I think that I would follow too. And I feel like I can be very strong in this way and I need to work on it is don't care what other people think. If your family and your friends are saying, "Hey, you're doing well," and I don't know why this person said it. I mean, don't be ignorant about it, but just kind of forget about it. And don't be cocky about, "Hey, like my family, my friends said this is not a problem." Just don't bring it up and don't let it bother you.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Oh, what superpower I like? Um, Teleportation. Oh my word, I
That's a
wish I
good
had
one.
that.
That would be so
I
nice.
hate traveling with a passion. Um, so yes, if I could teleport anywhere, that is what superpower I would love to have.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. I would definitely pick flying.
Okay.
If I could be an animal, I'd be a bird.
There you go. There you go.
If you worked at a circus, what would your job be?
Okay, I feel like this question could be funny if we answered it for each other. So I have
Yeah,
no idea what I would be at a circus.
I'm trying to think of
If
what
you were at a circus, you'd be like the animal trainer. You'd be the one that is. I think they do that at circuses, right? I've never been to a
animal
circus.
trainer. Yeah.
Yeah, They
Mhm.
make the animals do all kinds of different tricks.
Yeah.
You would be that person.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to think of what like circus jobs are
Right.
or what you do at a circus. Is there like dancing or like some sort of dance
I don't
routine?
I don't know if they do. I don't know if they would do like a dance number, but I'm guessing. Uh-uh.
I mean, because that's what I would associate you with
Okay.
if there was any sort of dance routine
Dancing
or
going on.
anything with involved with that.
Okay.
Yeah. What was your most embarrassing moment?
Okay, so I feel like I don't I'm not the kind of person that gets embarrassed super easy. Um, but this is kind of embarrassing. The other day, I just
Oh, this
recently
is fresh.
yeah,
Got fresh
I
content here, ladies and gentlemen.
I have been trying to wear jeans more often because I just wear joggers all the time whenever it's cold, and people have said, "Karina, come on, you gotta spice up your wardrobe a little bit." So I wore jeans, trying to be more uh aware, I guess, of my outfit. And I went to rehearse at a wedding. And I went then after we were done rehearsing, we came back home because the wedding wasn't for a while yet. And then on our way home, we stopped at the bakery and got some donuts. And then we came home. And I got home and I looked in the mirror and I was like, why do my jeans look like they're spreading really far apart? And my zipper was open. And I don't know. I asked my friend, she was at the bakery. I was like, was my zipper open whenever I was at the bakery? And she's like, yeah. I was like, why did you not tell
It was,
me?
oh my gosh, I shouldn't say.
Renee. It was Renee.
Why did she tell
I
you?
don't- and so I don't know if it was like that at the wedding. And I was sitting on the cajon too. So it made it worse because I had to spread my legs apart. So that was pretty embarrassing. And like,
Tough.
I was around people I didn't know at the wedding. There was a dude there too, which made it even weirder. Um, so it was pretty embarrassing.
But one of the most was a few years back. We were on the way, my family was on the way to one of my cousin's weddings in Missouri. And we stopped at a hotel, and it was the morning. And I had one of my sisters do something cool to the front of my hair. And then her and my brother went down to the cafeteria. So what's called the lobby for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing something else to my hair. Anyway, it got messed up. And so I walked down to the lobby and or to the cafeteria and was like, Janelle, can you like fix this? And she's like, well, not right now. We're eating breakfast. And I was like, come on. I was like, I'm down here already. Just do it because I want to finish my hair when I get back up to our room. And she's like, no, I'll do it when I get back up. We're eating breakfast right now. And so I was all huffy puffy and mad.
Oh
And have
dear.
you heard this story before?
I don't think I have.
Okay. And I turn around and start stomping out of the room. And I had socks on. And it was linoleum floor.
Oh no!
Oh no. Did
I
you
spilled my coffee.
all of it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Okay.
Anyway, and good one.
You can keep
So
talking.
I turn around and stomp out of the room and completely wipe out on the floor. And this room is like full of people. There's so many people in there eating. And dead silence for in the whole room. And I lay there on my back. I'm just like thinking like what am I gonna do? Like this is like everybody's looking at me and it's completely silent in here. And I just laid there for probably a good solid 15 seconds. And I just got up and took off out of the room and back up to our hotel room. And I heard like Jordan and Janelle were just like laughing behind me. I was like, you are gotta be kidding me right now. Anyway, that was pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, I've never heard that story, but that was a really funny story. I was laughing,
Yeah,
but not in the
it
moment.
is pretty funny now, but not in the moment. I was pretty traumatized.
Yeah, no kidding. What's the most difficult thing you've ever done?
Probably one of the hardest things I've ever done was going to Bible school. It wasn't super hard like in the moment, like I mean like going there, but the first week there was pretty horrible. Yeah, that was really really hard for me and got through the first week and after that I absolutely loved it. But yeah, the first week was pretty much the worst week of my entire life.
I went to Guatemala with a group of people I didn't even know, really. I only knew one person on this trip. The guy it was a couple that was actually now my mother and father-in-law. It was those two that was running this group of people, and we went to Guatemala. And until we got to the airport, I was fine. And then when we were at the airport and on the plane there, until we got there, I was trying to fight tears the whole time. And every time I would look up, I would see my father in law, Sheldon, look at me. And I'm like, oh, I can't cry because he's looking at me. And it felt like he was just like keeping tabs on me the whole time. And so I was like, I know I'm safe, but I'm terrified. But that was really, really hard because it felt like God was telling me to go to that. I didn't want to, but I was like, I'll get a ticket if it's still in enough time. Because I think they were leaving 2 or 3 weeks later. And I was like, hey, is it too late for me to get a ticket? So I was like, if I get a ticket, that means I'm supposed to go. If I don't, then we're good. And I ended up getting a ticket.
How long were you there for? Was it 10 days or a week?
Yeah, it was 10 days.
Okay. What is something you would do if you weren't afraid of failure?
I think I'm gonna say school. I was never really good at school and I kind of hated school, but I would like to go for some counseling classes. So that I think that's something that I would like to do, but I'm scared that I won't do very good at it and I'll get
Would you get a
bored and then I'll
degree?
drop out. No, I don't want a degree in counseling. I would, I'd maybe, there was a school that I was looking at before me and Tyrell started dating, and you could drop out whenever you want. You don't have to graduate if you don't want to.
Okay.
Which, I mean, you can do that with any school, but I think it would just be cool to get some background of things. So
You could just take probably some online classes too.
yeah, that's kind of what I would be thinking. I'm not gonna go to a college.
Come on now. College girl.
Yeah. Oh, my turn.
Oh, I guess I didn't say mine.
Yeah. Do you want to do that? What's something you would do if you weren't afraid of failure?
I don't know. Probably something with singing. I think it would be really cool to be able to be a part of Sight and Sound. Uh,
Oh, I was like, what is that? But
yeah.
you should explain what that
Maybe
is, just in
Sight and
case people don't
Sound.
know. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure everybody would know what Sight and Sound is, but
it's
it
a
would be
play
like
that you sing pretty much the whole way through.
it's like
A musical.
a musical play, yeah. Anyway, I think it would be really cool to be like at least one of the singers. I guess the singers would be actors too. So I think that'd be really cool. I
That
like
would be cool.
looked up the lady that I clean for is like, you should go be on Sight and Sound. So she printed out like all the information
Oh,
for me
there you
and
go.
was like, you at least have to look at it and consider it. Anyway, but it costs a lot of money actually to go.
You get paid for it eventually, don't you?
Yeah, but you have to like take classes and
Oh, I did forget about that. I feel like I do remember hearing about
yeah,
that.
and then
Yeah,
and it's like a
the whole
full-time thing
process.
too, and you have to like you can't get another job to pay for it while you're there.
Okay.
Like you have to have the money for it.
Okay.
So,
What do you look for slash need in your friendships?
oh, I forgot this question was on here.
So while Janessa thinks about hers, I think my answer would be I look to see if they pour into me just as much as I pour into them. If they're not doing that, don't really think of them as a friend. For my friends that I have, what I need from them is Yeah, I would say this. A big pet peeve of mine is, let's say we want to hang out. Now, for all of you, if you are friends of mine and you're listening to this, no shots at you, I promise. Um, but if they would agree to hang out or whatever, but then they would put another priority above that, last minute or something. Um, or if they people can totally be late and it's fine. But if, let's say, people were late and
Story of your life.
there's a difference between being like 5 minutes late and an hour late. Yeah, there's been a few times with friends of mine that we were with. I think it's more annoying if I was doing something before. If I'm just at home, it's whatever. Yeah, like if they say they're gonna be here at this time and then at that time they're not here and they're like, oh, it's gonna be another like half hour, 10 hour. And the one time I'm thinking specifically, we were hanging out with family and we left to come back here, so we are at the house when they get here, and they didn't show up till later. Um, and yeah, like if you're going to hang out with someone, it's not about you, it's about them, and to be prompt. Like I heard this on a podcast. If you're late to something, now this is like going deep in thought. Sometimes people are just late, but it is something to think about. And I've been thinking about more. Like if you're late to them, you're saying there was something, I was doing something either to myself getting ready, or this came up and I wanted to finish it first. You were saying if you're late, you're saying to them something was more important than you.
Hmm.
Um and I understand people can just be late sometimes. So like and that's something else too. If you're 5, maybe 10 minutes late, that's reasonable because a lot of times people are that late. But if that's something to think about too, is for Janessa, I feel like I'm late for her a lot. She just said that. And so me being late, I didn't start ahead enough to make sure I was prompt and be there with Ness whenever we discussed that we would be together or whatever. And I wasn't considerate enough to start earlier. So now I'm late.
So I guess a big thing for me too would be kind of what you said is if you're pouring all your, or if you're the only one who's giving into that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I have had friendships where it's like I'm the one pouring into it and I guess getting maybe things together. Um, and it just takes a lot of emotional energy
Mm-hmm.
for that, and if they're not giving it back. So that's a big thing. And I guess so there are surface level friendships for sure that
Mm-hmm.
maybe are meant to just be surface.
Yeah.
But I guess in the deeper friendships, I feel like important to me would be to talk about like the deep things and the important and personal things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel best supported in hard times?
I do. I feel like I like to ask people how they're doing and I want to be there for them. But I feel like I do feel supported if people ask me that. Or even if people just want to hang out. If you're like, hey, you want to hang out? And you're going through a hard time. Do you just want to hang out and just chill, not talk about it? Or if you want to talk about it, that's fine too. I feel like I do feel pretty supported, even just having them ask me if they if I want to hang out, because normally I'm the instigator.
Mm-hmm. Mine would be down the same line of yours, as in just for them just to be there and to tell you that they're
Mm-hmm.
there for you if you want to talk or if you don't just want to talk and if you just want to, get together and just be together
Mm-hmm.
without maybe even talking
Yeah.
too.
All right, last question of the day. What is the weirdest food, either combination or just food in general, that you eat?
That not normally people would eat together or eat.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I go first?
Yeah.
Um, Mine would be I don't think this is like a normal thing because the people that I've told that I do this are like, "What? You do that?" Would be grapes with peanut butter.
Yeah, that's
Have
weird.
you tried that?
No,
Oh, it
that's
is
really weird.
so good. It's like the best snack out
Okay.
there. It is really good.
I feel like this is a very charcuterie board type of thing, but some people are just like, ew, Karina, that is disgusting. Is a jelly of some kind. I like jalapeno jelly for it more. A jelly and cream cheese combined, and then eating it with a cracker.
Yeah, I think that's actually a thing.
Yeah, I
I've
have
I've
seen it
done
on
that.
some charcuterie
Okay.
boards. Some people are just like, ew,
Yeah,
that
I
is
think some.
disgusting.
Yeah, wouldn't be.
That's not
Everybody
something
would like
super
that.
abnormal, but some people do like it. Alrighties. Well, that was the last question of the day. So, Jensen, how did you feel about being on the podcast for the first time?
Good. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think this is a segment that I actually really liked, and I think it would be a fun thing to do with a lot of different people. So, we won't do
Hmm.
the same questions. I'll try to always come up with different questions. But, well, Janessa, I never call you Janessa. Well,
Yeah, that's
Ness,
weird.
thanks for coming on the podcast, and I hope that you will come on some other time.
No promises, but we'll see.
I can't remember if I said this on my last podcast, but something I am going to start doing or leaving the option for is the editing app that I have. It has that line across it that says like watermark or something. And some people think it's really annoying to have that. So it's a decent chunk to get the updated program to get that off. So if that is something that people are like, yeah, Karina, you should get that off. You can Cash App or PayPal for the podcast, and you will get a shout out in the podcast. And maybe, well, I don't know if people would even want to do this. I would say maybe if you would donate, whoever donates first could be on the podcast and have their glorious moment.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So I'll put that out there. I don't know if that's a for sure thing, but I'll put that out
You're gonna
there.
have someone from like Japan or something.
I do have. Where is it from?
Australia?
No,
Canada?
I want to say New Zealand, but I don't think that's right. I do have some listeners, at least on Spotify, in a different country. Which shout out to you guys if you're listening to this. Way to go! Thank you so much for the support. We love it, even though I have not been posting. Tyrell's in school now, so his laptop is never here. So I only can record in the evenings, and we normally only have one night, maybe 2 nights in the evenings now at home. But, anyways, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.